But then I had to come to Oklahoma City on November the 17th, 1967, to meet with the commissioner and their staff to get the main interview.
Okay.
Now, this was different. It was different than I'd ever been subjected to. You sitting in a seat out in the middle of the floor, and people all about you, and then when they'd ask you a question, you'd have to turn and answer. And the questions were fair. And but there was people that asked you a question like, "Do you drink?" And I said, "Well, usually first thing in the morning I get up, brush my teeth, and I'll have a drink." Well, do you drink every morning? I said, "Well, this is why I drink water. You know, I brush my teeth, and rinse it out, and you're going to take a drink of water." "No, you know what I mean. Do you drink?" Well, you didn't say, "Do I drink alcohol?" I think on my application that question was asked, and I said occasionally. Well, I still say that I drink occasionally. There's organization which I belong to. There's people that belong to the organization that do not drink at all. But I'd say 60% of the people did, and that's the Shriners. And I'm sure that we have some people here that are familiar with the Shriners. And that was my answer.
How do you think they were being harder on you than they would be on the average person?
I would say no, because there was some questions that was asked of the other people that was there of the same questions. The reason we know this because after you left the board, there's people who come out and say, "Man, they said this or they asked me that," and I didn't see any differences in that, just because there was some differences, but just because that I was black, there was some questions they almost had to ask, because the commissioner brought it to the fact that I was the only black person that the application had been accepted. You know, my application, the meeting that I had in Tulsa with the district headquarters there, they, in that area with which I come from, they had already said, "Well, I think that he'd make a good trooper." You know, and this is what he said. He said, "These people have met with you and your wife, and they feel like that you make a good trooper." I said, "Well, only thing I can do is what the law says that I'm supposed to do. I'd like to have that opportunity from you all." See, so there was more questions asked. I just can't remember all of them. But then they asked me, would I step out for a minute? And I said, yes. So I stepped in there with the secretary, and Inge was her name. She was from Germany, and she being in the minority also. And that's what she said. And so I sure hope I'm pulling for you. I hope you make it. So they come back in about 3 or 4 minutes, maybe longer, I don't know. And it said, the commissioner says, "Well, Ronald Johnson, you have been accepted for the 23rd Academy of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and you have to report at a certain date and report to OU." And because that's where we started, at